What is up, guys? Welcome to my channel. It's Steve the Mean Machine Garcia, the number 9th ranked UFC fighter now. Rankings are crazy sometimes. Anyways, we have predictions for you for this weekend. It is a hot topic. The BMF belt is up for grabs. Actually, it's not even up for grabs. Going to be contended, and Charles Oliveira is going to try to go get it from Max Holloway. So, guys, we have UFC 326 this Saturday. So, if you guys have nothing better else to do, make sure you tune into that fight because there's a reason why it's a BMF, and these dudes get it. All right. So again, I'm here with my man Max Warren as always, and he is going to take over. So thank you, Max, and let's get into it.
We got Bruno Ferreira, good friend of my channel, going up against Robo Cop. Bruno slept Robo Cop really bad a few years ago. I think this is a pretty uncalled for fight, but how do you think this one plays out round two out of these two guys?
Dude, we got like two big heavy hitters on this opening matchup. If I had to guess, man, like you said, Bruno's taken one already. So you know what? RoboCop is due now. You know what I mean? He has something to prove. Both of them very skilled, very technical. RoboCop has had a few tough fights, but man, he's been a standout fighter in the UFC. So that's been pretty impressive. And same with Bruno. Bruno's done such a phenomenal job, but RoboCop has definitely kind of stuck out more to me. So I'm gonna go with RoboCop for Saturday night as the opener for the main card. I think that he's gonna go out there guns blazing. Like I said, something to prove. So I'm gonna have to go with Bruno Silva.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm sorry, not Bruno Silva, RoboCop. I am so sorry.
You're good. You good. We knew what you meant, but I've got to go with my boy Bruno Ferreira here, guys.
Okay.
I know as
Okay.
of late, RoboCop, like Steve said, he's been on an absolute heat. Looked like a very undestructible force. There is one thing I got to tell you guys though. In the nation of Brazil, you got to be proud that you got two guys squaring off in the opening card matchup here. You know, very, very prideful guys of Brazil. I know how much they wear that country on their sleeve, but I got to go with Bruno Ferreira, guys. I know he's had some weight cut issues as of late. Cardio maybe hasn't looked the best, but I think he is going to get this one done. I don't think he knocks out RoboCop this time. Give me Bruno Ferreira by decision. I think it's going to be an absolute slugfest, and I think Dana, Hunter, and Sean Shelby knew exactly what they were doing by putting these guys first to open us up on the UFC 326 card. We'll go ahead and move into the next one, though. Talk about another scrap here. I mean, we really don't have a whole lot of fights on this card. A lot of people can look at this card and be like, this isn't number card worthy. But I'm here to tell you guys, we're here to be entertained. We're here to watch fun fights, and that's exactly what we've got here on the second fight of the main card. We've got Drew Dober versus Michael Johnson, two UFC vets, well-respected men in the UFC. Always love to watch these two get in the octagon whenever they're competing. Steve, who you got in this one?
This is like a fun one, man. Like, I think that everybody just sees these guys and these guys scrap. These guys are like solid 155ers. What you see is what you get, man. Drew Dober, he's a gamer. He's had some very fun fights. He's won some, he's lost some, but every time you see him on a card, you know he's going to bring it. And same thing with Michael Johnson. Like, Michael Johnson has hands, man. Like, this dude, he can wrestle. He has great grappling skills. But man, when you know that Michael Johnson's on the card, you know you're going to probably see a striking bout. And the striking bout between him and Drew Dober is literally just fireworks. The matchmaker did a phenomenal job, and I think that we're all going to be entertained, no doubt about it. And I think skill for skill goes to Michael Johnson. I do think skill for skill, it does go to Michael Johnson. But he's a little bit older. I don't want to say he's chinny or anything like that because, you know, he's been in some good scraps. It's held out. But Drew Dober, man, he's still young. He has a chin on him, man. He looks like he's like, you know, he should be like Captain America or something like that. He gets into a good scrap with Michael Johnson. He can't get clipped. He cannot get clipped by him. That's one dude you can't take a shot with. But if he plays it smart, I think I got Drew Dober winning this one. I do.
We'll move on to the next one, though.
Yeah.
Another friend of the card. We got Rob Font, baby. One of the, I mean, we just keep talking about UFC OGs. You know, you guys are getting the bangers here tonight. Guys that have been around for a long time, done some amazing stuff in the industry. He's taking on a very talented up-and-comer. I'm not sure why he wasn't on the card last weekend at UFC Mexico. I feel like that would have made a lot of sense for him to at least be the co-main there, if not the main event. Raul Rosas Jr., one of the youngest guys to ever join the UFC roster. Do you think this is going to be the changing of the guard, or do you think Rob Font's going to come back from his loss last year against David Martinez?
So this is a tough one, right? Because Rosas he's like a baby, man. He's still a baby in this sport. And Rob has been in the game. Everybody that has been a UFC fan knows Rob Font. Everybody knows what kind of fighter he can be, you know what I mean? And he's had a few, you know, ups and downs, you know. This is MMA. This is what's going to happen. And even with Rosas, he's had a share of ups and downs, but man, this dude is honestly progressing at a exponential rate, man. Even his striking starting to look a little bit better. The way my coach always sees it is the man who can control the takedown, whether it's stuffing it or getting it, is who can typically figure out the outcome of the fight. With that being said, Rob Font is no joke. This dude, if it's on the feet, and it stays on the feet, Rob Font will get the best of Rosas Jr. There's no doubt about it. However, if Rosas can get him down, if he can get him down, grind it out, which he has a very likely chance to do, I do think that he will edge us out by decision. I don't see it being like a submission or anything like that. If there's a finish in this fight, it's Rob Font knocking out Rosas Jr., like no doubt about it. But I'm going to go with the young buck. Normally I go with the vets, but today I'm going to go with Rosas Jr. strictly just because his takedown ability and his striking has been looking better. So give me Rosas Jr. on this one.
Yeah, I think this is honestly probably the toughest fight on the main card for me as well to pick between. I think Steve probably agrees with that. But like I said, before we continue on doing the breakdowns, Steve has actually posted his predictions on his Instagram. So if you're not following him already on Instagram, make sure you check out his breakdowns on there. He's made some phenomenal reels and posted one from every single fight that's on the main card on there. But I'm going to go and get into my pick now. Like I said, guys, probably the toughest fight on the main card for me to pick between. You got to go off what Steve said, and he hit the nail on the head here, folks. Raul Rosas Jr., if he gets this thing to the ground, not going to be a good night for Rob Font. But I'll say this, folks. Rob Font, across any division in the UFC, has one of the best jabs across the entire organization. If he can manage the distance and keep Raul Rosas on his jab, I think Raul's going to have a hard time closing the distance and getting that takedown. Going back to what Steve said, I also think this fight is going to be a decision, but I'm going to take Rob Font because he's my boy, so I'm a little bit biased. But give me a decision win by Rob Font. Should be a phenomenal fight. And we're going to go ahead and get into the co-main event of the evening. A lot of people wanted another title fight on this card, but we got two really, really exciting middleweights here. And I think people are very excited to see who was going to bounce back from a loss. You guys saw what happened with RDR. I think it was his fourth fight of the year last year whenever he fought Brendan Allen and he quit on the stool. That's something that I personally have never seen happen in the UFC. Pretty crazy to quit on the stool, especially in a main event slot, but you cut a lot of weight if you're RDR. He's fought at the heavyweight division, fought at light heavyweight before. Now he's at 185, folks. So he's cutting a lot of weight. And if you fight so many times throughout the year, that could really affect you. You saw that happen to Merab Dvalishvili against Peter Yan at the end of the year last year. And I think that's what happened to him that night. And then Caio Borralho lost in the main event at UFC Paris last year against Nasruddin Imavov, who I think is the rightful contender now for the belt to get that opportunity. So you got two guys right here coming off losses. They need to bounce back right here. Steve, who is going to win this one and not go on a two-fight losing streak?
Honestly, man, like you kind of said a ton of the things I was about to say. So, attaboy. So with RDR, when like you said, man, if you have so many fights, you're not a machine. You're just not a button you push. You gotta know and you gotta listen to your body a little bit. RDR said he was sick and he was doing some things, but bro, like to string out win after win after win after win, man, you're testing your luck. And especially with your body's not used to cutting all the weight. Your body's not used to scrapping like that. Being in a camp all the time, it's very, very taxing on your body. Your body does need small gaps to cover and be able to function as optimal state. So with that being said, I think that we should see a better RDR. Now, Kyle, on the other hand, I think that this dude is a stud. No doubt about it. And I think that he puts things together really well. Who was his last loss? I think his last loss, who was his last loss?
Nasruddin Imavov.
Yeah, he's fighting tough competition. So they're both trying to figure out how to come back. Do I feel like there's more ways for victory for RDR? Yes, I do. And with Kyle, like this dude's a scrapper. Everybody loves the fight nerds and he's one of them. This dude, he gets it. He fights, his life's on the line. As someone like that, I respect. But I'm gonna go with RDR. I know he had a bad showing. I don't know. It's hard when you say like he kind of quit on the stool, man, and like that messes with you mentally. So let's say like that didn't happen, but it did. You know what I mean? So I understand. But say it didn't happen, and he bounces back like how most people do at his pedigree. I think RDR is gonna come out and he's gonna do well. That's what I think, and I think Kyle's gonna have his hands full. So I'm gonna go with RDR.
Can Kyle get going early? You know, you saw him in that main event last year in Paris, guys. He really did not get going until the fourth and fifth round, and really let Imavov push the pace and let him fight his fight for 3 rounds. And you can't ever fight from behind, especially at the highest level where these guys are ranked at in the middleweight division now. I will say this though, Kyle needs to get his hands going, and he needs to use all facets of the actual MMA world. Can we go to the body a little bit more, Kyle? Can we throw some more leg kicks this fight? I think that's going to be very crucial for him and for him to get going early. My keys to victory for RDR, though. Can we throw that left knee at Kyle's body? You saw how it dropped Bo Nickel last year, made him freaking roll up like he was one of those little I can't think of one of those little roly things that's that freaking insect, but you guys know what I'm talking about. That's how Bo Nickel folded up, and it was because of that left knee from RDR. So I want to see some body work early from RDR anytime. It doesn't matter what fighter it is. Doesn't matter if they've got the best cardio in the UFC, not the best cardio in the UFC. If you get hit right there in the stomach by knee, that's going to affect your cardio, and that's going to affect the way you fight, or that's going to affect the way you fight the rest of the fight. So, but I am going to go with Kyle on this one. I think he fought a better opponent last time out. I think he showed towards the end of the fight that he is able to be up there with the top of the division. And, you know, for me personally, I don't know. I like RDR. You know, he beat Bo Nickel, beat Rob Whitaker last year. Tremendous respect for RDR. But I think Kyle's going to get this one done. And once again, maybe a little bit biased. I love the nerds, but I do think Kyle's going to get this one done. So, like I said, though, guys, make sure you guys comment down below. Let us know who you think is going to win. Me and Steve have been split on a lot of these fights, and they really are that competitive. You're not seeing minus 500 favorites no more on the main card. We're giving you guys bangers this year. That's what Dana, Hunter, Sean Shelby, they're all cooking these things up for you guys to get your asses on Paramount and spend that $8 a month. So make sure you tune the fuck in. But we're going to go ahead and get into the main event. I want to say, first off, I know I've been talking a shitload tonight, guys, but these really are, if you want to show, your young son how to act like a role model and act like a professional athlete, these two men in the main event on Saturday night are a great representation of how to be a role model for young kids and to just really show, anybody that has a dream in their life how to go about it. I really think these two dudes are two of the best in the UFC. That's why so many people love these guys. It sucks that one of them is going to have to lose on Saturday night, but with the fight styles we've got and the matchup we've got in front of us, Steve, this could be fight of the year. I'm really not going to lie. Both of these guys are willing to lay it all on the line. Max Holloway is going to point down with 10 seconds left if it gets to that fifth round, and Charles is willing to trade in the pocket. I know he got slipped by Ilia Topuria last year, but even against the scariest boxer in the UFC, Steve, he was willing to sit there and trade with Ilia. Unfortunately, things didn't go his way, but I'm interested to hear what you got for this main event, bro.
Honestly, both of these guys are like stand-up gentleman killers, man. They definitely represent the MMA scene really, really well. Everybody knows that. And honestly, kind of like you said, man, these guys are just really good dudes. Oliveira, he's very, very loyal to his crew, to fans. And I could say the same thing for Max Holloway. I mean, it's funny because I watched some of his streams with like his gaming stuff. And I love watching it because it's funny because everybody gets so pumped to talk to him and he just entertains it, which is cool. He's not like a douche or anything like that when it comes to that stuff. So I respect both of these guys tremendously. However, when we're coming to the actual fight, it's kind of hard to break this down because obviously Oliveira's strongest point is his grappling, is his jiu-jitsu. This is a BMF belt, though. This is not for the undisputed belt. This means that you got to come being a gangster. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where I'm a little iffy on Charles Oliveira because we know how much of a gangster Max Holloway is. Max Holloway is a guy that pretty much made the whole point down to the canvas in the center. Let's stand in the pocket and let's finish this out. And that is a true representation in my eyes as a BMF. Can Oliveira do this striking? We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. I don't think he's as adequate in his striking as Max Holloway. That's what makes I guess is gonna separate the two, right? This is an MMA fight. I take that into account. But man, if this turns into a grappling match, this is gonna almost like put a bad taste on the BMF belt, man. You cannot do this. And I hate that this is the matchup for the BMF because Charles Oliveira is just so good at what he does. but this belt is not meant for that. So I hope that he really comes out. It looks like, according to his training videos, that his striking is on point, and it looks pretty freaking good. I will say that. So kudos to you. And I think that you are trying to, I guess, entertain the fans, if you will. And Max is already a must. He's a guarantee. Like, that's what's going to happen. Max is going to go out there. He's not going to shoot for takedowns. He's going to keep this on his feet. And he's going to jab you to death, hit you with whatever, the kitchen sink, if he can. And he's going to try to get you out there. And if not, like you said, the last 10 seconds of this fight, he's going to point down in the center and he's going to give you, like he said, the Hail Mary. And can you catch him or not? That is the question. And he has not been caught yet. So you know what? If he's winning and that happens, I mean, we're gonna see something special. I mean, Charles is saying that he's gonna abide by that. So I'm hoping that he sticks to his guns. But when you're in the heat of battle, you're gonna just try to figure out how to win this thing. And I understand that. However, I'm going to go with my man Max Holloway because this is his throne, this is his title, and he's rightfully the rightful owner of this. So I'm going Max Holloway.
I love that breakdown right there from you, Steve. I am going to agree with Steve on this one. I don't know if we've agreed on a pick yet tonight, but
I don't think so. No.
I'm rocking with Max Holloway, guys, in
Yeah.
this one. And I'm sorry for any of my Shooter Box boys that are watching this video. I love you guys. I hope I get to make it to Brazil one day, but I think Max Holloway wins this one, guys. And, you know, it's kind of a tale of two tapes. You know, if you guys have been around watching the UFC now for a few years, if you think back to UFC 300, everybody knows the iconic moment where he pointed down up so many rounds on Justin Gaethje and he sleeps him. Probably one of the best knockouts of all time. That's always going to be associated with Max Holloway's name. But before that fight, though, I want to remind you guys, Max was not known as a knockout artist before that fight. So he actually doesn't have a whole lot of knockouts on his resume, but Max at 155 is a scary motherfucker.
He is. Yeah, he is.
Very scary motherfucker. Ilia Topuria did knock him out. Crazy to see that happen. I still, to this day, cannot believe that we saw Max Holloway get knocked out by somebody. It just shows you how good Ilia is. But until I see somebody at 155 show Max that they can't or they can fuck with them on the feet, I'm not going to be picking against Max Holloway. Give me Max Holloway to win by TKO in round 3 or 4, guys. That's going to do it for this prediction video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't be boring. Don't watch this video and not comment down below your picks. We want to know what you guys got as well. And until then, we'll see you guys on Saturday night for the BMF title. Let's get it, baby. Let's go.